Hi, it's Sandy again from Twister Ridge Ranch, and tonight I'm going to make some beef stroganoff, old-fashioned beef stroganoff in my Instapot using our grass-fed beef. Okay, first of all, I'm going to add a little of avocado oil into here, probably no more than about 2 or 3 tablespoons. Now, I've already chopped and prepared my vegetables. So I'm going to put in 1 whole chopped onion and 4 to 5 cloves of chopped garlic. I'm going to stir those around just a little. Let them saute. Okay, now I'm going to put in, now you can use your sirloin, your beef tips, or whichever piece of meat you want. Just make it, get rid of all of your leaders and make it just the beef. And I make it in about 1 inch cubes or ½ inch slices. So either way you want to do it. Now we're going to stir this around, and as you can see, I've got my crock pot set on saute, and I'm just going to let these beef tips brown some here. Now, while that's browning, I'm going to add, I use sea salt. I'm going to add about 3/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Got a lot of beef in there, and we're going to cook our egg noodles in here. This is virtually going to be a 1-pot meal. I'm going to put in some black pepper and about, ½ teaspoon of black pepper. And then, my favorite, I'm going to put in a whole teaspoon of smoky paprika. Well, I think it just makes all the difference. And where stroganoff comes from the German and Hungarian background, and that's where most of your best paprika comes from. So a good smoky paprika couldn't hurt. Now in a minute, I'm going to add one of my secret ingredients. Probably shouldn't tell you this one. I learned this when I was, let's see, it was out of an old Betty Crocker cookbook, and I'd been married about a month and a half, and had got it for a wedding gift. And in it, it had a pot roast. But this pot roast, they took and put horseradish, prepared horseradish, and smeared it on. Well, I use a good heavy teaspoon of horseradish most any time I'm dealing with a piece of meat like this. Now, for this, I'm also going to put in a couple of teaspoons of a Dijon mustard. Dijon. I'm not French. Oh, I have a little bit of French. Just never been around anyone who spoke it. So, anyway, we stir this around, let it saute, let that beef brown all over. And this is going to take about 5 minutes. I want it to really saute. I don't want it overcooked, because remember, this is grass-fed beef, but I do want to get it cooked fairly good. So, see you in about 5 minutes. Okay, now, if you'll notice, the beef is browned nicely, but If you have fresh mushrooms you want to put in, I would do that when we put the onions and garlic in. But I just had canned mushrooms, so I put in about 3/4 a cup of canned mushrooms just now, because they don't need as much cooking. And I have about, this is just my little added thing, just to get some veggies in here. I'm adding about a cup of fresh spinach I've chopped. Now comes the magic part. I'm going to stir this around a little. I'm going to add 2 cups. It would have been beef broth. I didn't have beef broth, so I put 2 cups of water and 2 bouillon cubes in here. We're going to let this, stir that around. Let that heat up a little bit. Now, the magic of this one, oh, just so you know, we don't want to put it in yet, but I had some heavy whipping cream I needed to use, and so I needed it to be sour cream, so I put a tablespoon of lemon juice in. So I had about 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream and about 1/4 cup, maybe a little more. In other words, it makes just about a cup worth of Greek yogurt in here. And I cannot handle commercial sour cream, so I always kind of make up my own. We're going to put that in after we cook the noodles. So I've got 2 cups of egg noodles here. I'm going to throw those in. I'm going to stir those around with the broth. Get them down in there good. Now then, I'm going to put my top on. Just like this. You got the pressure on. In other words, instead of vented, I've got it at pressure. And I'm now going to set it for rice. Okay. It's set for rice. So rice cooks in about, well, it says 10 minutes. But remember, we've got to let the rice cook. It's got to come up to steam and pressure. So that takes about 5 minutes. And then you need to give at least 5 minutes for the pressure to cool off on its own. Then you can release it. When you release it, you're going to have some steam. Let that steam go and then open it up. And then we're going to put the sour cream in, or my version of sour cream, in there. And let's see what it looks like. Okay? Be back in a few. Okay, it's been actually 15 minutes, 5 minutes for it to build up steam, 10 minutes to cook, and then I gave it another 5 to 6 minutes for the steam, for it to cool off, and then I manually released the steam, and it's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to add the sour cream at this time. Stir that in. And let's see how it does. It's looking pretty good. So that should be a dinner for Mr. Pitts and me tonight, all in one pot, using our grass-fed beef and counting the pressure time and prep. It took less than actually 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but 15 to 20 of that was this doing all the work. And I have exactly one pan and my bowl to clean up. So that's my beef stroganoff with grass-fed beef from Twister Ridge Ranch. So be sure and check us out at twisterridgeranch.com. And hey, come visit sometime. Thank you.